Besides sending the police, you might want to send an ambulance or a hearse.
Hello, welcome to a Billy Ho Sports preview and picks show for the 2023 Travelers Championship. We're headed northeast to Cromwell, Connecticut for this designated event. So we'll have a big loaded field, which is always a good thing. Love these designated events. We get the best of the best. TPC River Highlands, we're going to get deep into some course breakdown on that. So be sure to stick around. We're also going to go over maybe some course horses and since there's a lot of history at this particular golf course. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Smash on that like button. Set your notifications for future releases for videos and whatnot. And let's get her started. All right. Queuing up some video flyover footage for you here in just a second. TPC River Highlands is a Pete Dye designed golf course. Like I said before, Cromwell, Connecticut. It plays at a par 70, 6,850 yards. So it's going to be a relatively short track for these guys. The fairways are quite generous, about 38 yards wide, and the grass on those fairways will be a bent POA mix, as are the greens. They are also bent and POA mixture. The greens are about 5,000 square feet on average, which is a little on the smaller side. We also have, for those who miss these generous fairways, a nice 4-inch rough that will be a mix of Kentucky bluegrass and fescue, which probably isn't overly penal. But you know, the going back to hole number one, that's where the scoring will start with a good drive off of the tee. In the fairway, we'll leave you just a gap wedge into that green. The second hole is a mere 341 yards itself. And I think a lot of guys will try to whack it up there as far as they can. Any really strong driver can get it inside of 60 yards for just pitch and putt if they so choose to. Or some of the more comfortable guys with the wedges in their hands will lay it back about 100 yards and then shoot at the pin. Anyway, those kind of holes are going to be the ones you're going pin seeking on for the most part. So the first two holes are obviously good scoreable holes. Also, the two par fives are easily reachable by most anybody. And then there's obviously the tasty drivable par 4 15th, where if you're looking at it right now, you can just see basically the water looming for anything that is a severe miss to the left off the tee. But all in all, it's a pretty easy birdie hole. And then to finish it off, there'll be 16, 17, and 18 are all pretty challenging par fours, but they are manageable. So that'll kind of decide your tournament on Sunday. But getting into the approach shots, like I said, this is a Pete Dye course, so positioning off the tee, but it's not going to be hard to get it in the fairway. You just want to be on the proper side of the fairway with the best angle into the pin. And, you know, looking at the buckets on these approach shots right here, you can see those famous two buckets. The 125 to 150, 150 to 175 are going to be your stock wedges. You can also see the listing of the par fours, which are 8 of them, go from 400 to 450 yards. So those are going to be the par scoring as a whole for me. There's also a short par 3 11th. If you're looking at the list of the distribution of holes, you can see in the green, the short par 3 11th is got a pretty good birdie shot. Most of the shorter par fours, looking at this screen, are in the green, and then obviously the two par fives, which you are possibilities for some eagles. So I'm sure some of the bigger hitters are going to be dialed in for that. So if we get into players, which we won't have a list of the actual player, I mean the field list is out, but there's going to be top 10 players like Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Rory, McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, Victor Hovland. The defending champion is Xander Schauffele, who is in the mix this week at the U.S. Open. And as I'm filming this, the U.S. Open has completed the first 2 rounds and had the cut, but they hadn't quite yet teed off yet. So we still got Ricky Fowler in the lead. We got Xander up there. Wyndham Clark's going to be in this tournament, who you can't dismiss a guy like that. He is actually ranked 32nd in the world, but I imagine if he keeps up his play this week, he's going to make a pretty big leap. So other guys like Matty Fitz, Max Homa, who actually missed the cut this week, will be in the field. Number 12th ranked Tony Finau, 16 Justin Thomas, 17 Cam Young, who I just have yet to see it from him this year since the Masters, really. So this could be a good get right course for him, though. If he gets it out there and gets it on the green, maybe he starts rolling in some putts. So it might be a sneaky week for Cam Young. Keep that in mind. Colin Morikawa looks like a great course fit. Sungjae M's obviously a great course fit. Kurt Kitayama's number 20th. He's rounding out more marquee players. Even like I said, your current leader Ricky Fowler's going to be in it. Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki Matsuyama, Shane Lowry, those guys just kind of barely made the cut. But then a couple of disappointments in Adam Scott and Jason Day, who missed the cut pretty badly. So like I said, Wyndham Clark, I think will be a great fit with the way he's playing OWGR wise. So when you're basically, it comes down to this, looking at here on Rick Rungood's key stats, and I'm going to go over some of mine as well. When you're looking at a par 70 track, it's always a good idea to see who's really, really good at par 4 scoring in general, birdies, whatnot. So these are just PGA websites. These are the buckets, birdie or better percentage from 150 to 175. And you can see guys like Morikawa's up there, Rahm, Homa. Kevin Yu, I miss. Kevin Yu was popping up all over the place. The poor guy tore his knee earlier in the year and had surgery, so he's not back yet, but he would have been a great fit for this course. Feel bad for the guy. Ben Martin, I think, would be a really good fit. Scotty Scheffler's always a good fit, but these bogey avoidance guys, obviously, Andrew Putnam, Brian Harmon, I think I'm going to get to him in a second. But guys like that, another stat, this is just total birdies. And this top 5 right here are all in the field. These are just total birdies on the season. Will Gordon, who knew? I mean, I knew he could score, but I didn't know he was like way up there in like total birdies. Obviously, our guy, Thigala. S.H. Kim, though, for a guy who's known as more of a grinder, makes a lot of birdies. Of course, Jaeger Bombs is going to be a good fit for this week. Brandon Wu. I think Brandon Wu, this is the week B Wu outperforms D Wu. Dylan Wu is also in this field. He would be another good fit. But like Benny On, has played well here before. Taylor Montgomery is another one. Taylor Montgomery, despite his poor play, has a really, really good par 4 scoring average. Birdies. Other guys, Tom Kim, Thomas Dietrich. I mentioned Ben Martin. So, dudes like that are where we're going to be looking at for scoring wise. So, yeah, diving even further down, there's a lot of good fits for this golf course. Back over to the key stats. Driving accuracy, I guess that's valuable, but like I said, these fairways are pretty wide open. So I'm not 100% on the driving accuracy. I think a lot of guys can club down and hit fairways and get to the proper spot in the fairway where they want. It's obviously going to be approach the green for me in those buckets that I mentioned. But it's not the worst around the green. I mean, if you're, like I said, with 5,000 square feet on average, greens will be missed. So you're going to want to be able to get up and down also. The guy that's been playing so well and that could be in line for a big week here is Denny McCarthy. He's been really, really close a few times here this season to getting that win, and the putting, with an all around game, not just his putting has been getting him there. So he's obviously a great birdie maker. And I mentioned Taylor Montgomery, Will Gordon, who I thought was very very odd to have him up way up there in the birdie ranks, but dude can score when he's on. The problem is with Montgomery, Taylor Montgomery, A, Will Gordon, B, is they're opposites. Montgomery his recent form has been poor ball striking, like off the tee and irons, but his around the green game is still as good as if you remember when he was racking up top tens left and right. All that's still there. That short game and putting is still there. He just needs to uh, get back to a place where his best approach is those wedges, which this should be a good spot for him. Will Gordon's the opposite. He's been nailing it off the tee and on approach. Ball striking has been great, but his short game's been really bad recently. So if either one of them just kind of straightens out in their weak parts, they're going to be really good. Aaron Rye feels like a perfect fit for this golf course. I think he'll be popular. O2 gloves. Like I said, Brandon Wu earlier. Taylor Moore disappointed me missing the cut at the U.S. Open, but he's a young golfer and it's the friggin' U.S. Open. Cuts will be missed. So he could bounce right back because he's just a really good tee to green player who can also putt. Others catching my eye just kind of to round things out a little bit. Guys like JJ Spawn, Justin Suh, Sepp Straka, I think might be a good fit here. The way he shapes his shots. And then obviously, and this is an elevated event. So are we going to get a guy like Kurt Kitayama or Wyndham Clark that's going to break through and win one of these, catching these guys coming off a major championship? Or are we going to go back to a guy like Jason Day or Justin Rose that hadn't won in a while, that's a veteran player? If I had to put that money on that, it'd be Brian Harmon, who I think is playing really, really well this week, who has 4 top 10s out of his last 5 appearances here. So if he just has one of those big weeks, we might see little guy hoisting the big trophy. So hopefully I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. I think Brian Harmon is a guy that I'm going to get to this week, and hopefully he doesn't disappoint. Lefties like Brian Harmon fare pretty well here. Bubba Watson's a 3-time winner at this golf course, so he's got that going for him. I hope I covered enough. I feel like I've covered a lot, and I hope you got benefit out of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and smash. And until the next time, see you soon. Thanks.